Small business owner, check. This is my name. This is the name of my company. This is what my company does. This is why I love what I do. This is an accomplishment I'm proud of. This is where you can find me online. And if you're a small business owner, introduce yourself in the comments and let's support.
On mute this time. So welcome to another rendition of A Seat at the Dinner Table. I am Taman.
And I'm Kim.
And we have some special guests in the building. We have the lovely couple of the Love Walk, the Wilchers. We have Dom and we have Nicole. You guys would introduce yourselves today.
She Dom, I'm Nicole.
That's right. It's like, I'm Nicole, this is Dom, and we're excited on being here tonight.
Yeah.
Great. We did not, unfortunately, give them a seat at our dinner table, so we did not provide them food, so our hospitality is horrible at the moment. Nonetheless, we greatly appreciate you guys' presence today.
Yeah.
I done fasted all day. You know what I mean?
Understood.
Blame him.
Blame me.
He fasted all day.
Blame me. I'm so sorry. Needless to say, at the bottom, we have shop at www.simplyshondell.com. And Miss Simply Shondell, you got anything to say before we get this thing going? You want to plug?
Sure. Oh, I guess I can. Right now on simplyshondell.com, I am doing 15% off your entire order for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This year, I think I said this before, but it's very near and dear to my heart. For those of you that don't know, I lost my grandma back in May of this year to breast cancer. So this one is different this year for breast cancer awareness. So I'm just doing 15% off. Plus, if your orders are over $50, you automatically get free shipping as well. So got that going. I have one last pop-up shop coming up on November 20th of this year. So follow me on Instagram and Facebook for more details on that.
All right. So what do we got going on today for dinner?
Dinner tonight, I was a little ambitious. I tried a Gordon Ramsay recipe. It was it's roasted tomato soup with sun-dried tomato pesto and a cheesy bread that is to die for. I can't see it. You're going to dip it out the bowl.
All right. So it's soup. So
you got to take a picture and then post it later so we can see.
That'll work. We'll do that.
You get on
Let me
that.
see if I can get this picture.
So tonight's topic, we are talking about gender roles in society today. I know when the phrase gender roles comes about in 2021, it can be a number of things that come to your mind. However, with us being a married couple, the first thing that we think about is just male and female first when it comes to gender roles, and then in a relationship, and then go from there.
I was not listening. I'm so sorry.
Understood.
I'm trying to get this
to
picture.
each his own. When it comes to the gender fluidity, whatever.
Fluidity?
Yep.
I don't know.
But we're going to be a little bit, I guess, traditional when we're talking about gender roles tonight in society today, more so of the male and female aspect in a relationship. And my son is just a lovely interrupter.
Okay, go in the room.
Even though we had a pep talk right before this.
He does what he wants.
Very much so.
Same thing over here.
So, quick, before I get into the questions, when you guys first think of gender roles, what's the first thing you guys think of?
Same thing, basically, what you just said. It's a male's role in the household and the female's role in the household. What I'm supposed to be doing and what she's supposed to be doing. And that's how I look at it. You know what I mean, what's your role in the household? What's the male's role in the household? What's the woman's role in the household?
Gotcha. Understood.
basically thought of the same thing. What people consider to be gender roles, and if I really believe in gender roles, but that'll probably be the conversation.
So let's just get into it. First question that we have is, what is your definition of gender roles? I know that was kind of what I started with, but
That's okay.
you didn't say too much.
I didn't. So I would say my definition of quote unquote gender roles is like traditionally what is expected of a man in a household versus what is expected of a woman in a household. So I don't even know what your questions are, but yep, can't wait to talk about those gender roles.
I mean, I guess I pretty much said my definition. Well, not really. Pretty much, it's what's laid out as the quote unquote standards as to what a male and female is supposed to be, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that would like generalize my definition.
Yeah, same. What each spouse or partner job is inside of their own household.
Miss Fulcher?
Oh, I thought I answered.
Oh,
Basically the same thing, but see, I don't want to say too much because I don't know where the questions are going to go. But
understood.
Yeah, I'm gonna just wait.
Second question: do you think there are certain gender roles taught in America today?
Oh, me say that. I don't.
Go ahead.
I think society, yes. I think that from birth, from certain cultures, certain ethnicities, like ethnic backgrounds.
You said it right.
They all going to teach gender roles differently. So I do believe that there are certain gender roles taught in America today. It all depends on your household and what they've seen. So I do believe they are.
And I think some are cliche. The woman keeps the house, the man makes the money, and that's just it, which that I don't believe in, because I think that everybody's strengths are different. I think that seasons are different. We've had times where he might be strong in one area and I'm strong in another. It's never been that traditional, the woman stays at home, the man goes and makes the money, and
No.
This is a conversation.
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
Listen, because I was answering questions, I would have dove in, man.
Dive in.
Please dive
I'm here
in.
to because I'm gonna hear some truths from my side too. I can't speak for him. You gotta hear some truths from me. I won't ever speak for you.
I know, I get that, but I'm speak proof. Go ahead.
Not good, but is what you saying? I don't necessarily know, and again, I don't know where the questions are going. But I don't.
Just listen. Take the question for what it is. Whatever comes to your mind, by all means.
Yeah. So again, like I said, just answering the question, I do believe that there are gender roles that are taught, especially like if we're talking about in the black household. That's where we'll start, right? Going in the black household, from birth, especially down south, you're probably going to hear a woman cooks, the woman cleans. If you want to keep a man, you got to cook, you got to clean, right? That's what the woman's job is. If you in a black household, you might hear a man, like Cole said, the man is the provider. He's the head of the household. Sometimes you may hear like you gotta rule the iron fist as a man. You know what I mean? Like that's what you gotta do. Like if you want to be respected, you know what I mean, don't let her talk back. Like that's just how they may teach you down south. You know what I mean? So we think that
Color purple.
those are things. Those are things that are taught. I think that those are traditions that have been established in the black household. Some black households, not my black household, not my mom, but in certain black households, those are things that are taught and established.
Definitely. I would say the culture of America is, I mean, if you want to go deep as to how it all started, I mean, there's an adopted culture in America to where, like you said, it's got to be the iron fist, and there's a rule over the woman in a sense, and the man has to be the provider, especially when it comes to finances. And of course, that was the standard even back in the 60s and the 50s. And I mean, if even going back in history, like the woman wasn't really the breadwinner until pretty much when World War II was happening, when the men went over to fight in the war, and then the women were forced to work because they had to take care of the kids. They're in the factories, the men come home, the women are working, and there starts the cycle of I'm not necessarily a cycle, but pretty much the beginning of the working woman and the traditions changing. But I mean, it stems from a patriarch system, in my opinion, and America is very patriarch. Is that a word? Is that the word? No, not patriotic. Just meaning like the man is first. The man is head of everything. So
I think
that's where I leave it.
Like you said, I think one of those things. One of the things that you're talking about, when we're talking about that whole ruling with our fist or being submissive. I'm just throw out that word submissive, being submissive, right? I think that when people hear that, they automatically think that that is part of gender role. I'm the head. Woman is supposed to be submissive underneath me. She's supposed to do X, Y, and Z. The children are supposed to be submissive underneath the woman. They're supposed to do X, Y, and Z. And I think that a lot of that, some of that can stem from scripture and not totally understanding what those words actually mean. And that's, I think, a lot where we see America is trying to establish those gender roles, or trying to beat you over the head with those gender roles, because this is what X, Y, and Z says. You're supposed to be submissive to me and do what I say.
Your audio went out. I couldn't hear them on the last thing.
Oh, shoot.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was still talking.
Yeah, but he was done talking. That's why I looked at you to see if you was going to interject.
Oh, because what I'm looking at is on a delay, I guess. My bad.
I was like, what are you talking about, delay? You good.
But okay, so I'll answer the question.
We have chime in.
Right, Deep.
Yeah, Derek Frazier says, but what is the rest of that verse? I don't know what verse he was talking about.
No, you're talking about Ephesians. I mean, we're talking about in Ephesians, but what people will do is they'll pick and choose certain parts of the scripture.
That's a fact.
To try to control you. So when we're talking about the gender roles and we're talking about the submission, they'll use that one specific part of the scripture, right? Which be submissive to the husband. Wives, be submissive to your husband. But like you said, the other part of that scripture is the husband has to be submissive to Christ, to be submitted underneath Christ. One of the things that we always talk about, I talk about dual submission. Like I'm going to be submitted to, she's going to be submissive to me, but I'm also going to be submissive to her needs as well. So it's not just me trying to rule. And I'm going to get super deep on you, but if we understand what that word submission actually means, all it literally means is just to get out of the way. Look.
You said exactly.
So
my answer isn't biblical to the question, and you moved the question up.
Be biblical.
I'm just saying. So I'm trying to see if this is.
Do you think there are certain gender roles taught in America?
I think there's definitely certain gender roles that are taught in America. My own personal opinion, I feel like some of the gender roles came from the pride of a man, because, like you said, when the war was going on and women had to go and work, they felt like they didn't know what to do with themselves or didn't have a place when they came back. But it's like, women were happy for their husbands to come back and happy to have the man back in the household again. However, they also got accustomed to going out and working and also providing, because that gives you a sense of like strength and accountability and like leadership to go out there and be able to help provide for the kids that you're also helping to take care of. So I feel like some gender roles were brought about because of pride.
I would agree. Because I mean, like, I want to be PC, so it is, when you look at different cultures have different ways about doing things when it comes to gender roles.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, when it comes to America, with the man having that pride, it was almost like you said, coming back from the war, yeah, the wives were receptive, but at the same time, the man felt slighted of his manhood.
Mm-hmm.
And who's to say that that's part of what being a man is to provide financially?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, that is a staple. However, at the same time, there are so many other things that a father provides in the household. There are so many things that the man provides in the household. One of the things he should provide is leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you call yourself the head of the household, then you need to have a vision and have your family align with that vision to go forward, regardless. But that's just one thing or another. Anything you guys want to add before I move on to the next question?
Nah, because listen, we be here all day with this one.
So the next question is, do you think gender equality plays a part in gender roles?
Can you write that question down for me?
So gender equality, meaning like
Equal.
There's been a feminist movement of saying that women need to be equal to men.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that plays a part as far as gender roles is concerned?
Oh, you asking for me to answer the question
I was
now?
just trying to clear it up. You ain't gotta.
I gotta think on this.
Okay. So
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go.
So something that I find funny that I know for a fact that I do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people do it. I do. Most people say, well, the man should take out the trash. The man should be Mr. Fix-It. He should da-da-da-da-da. But I would hate for him to think that, well, she needs to be doing the laundry. Because in my head, you can do laundry, you can wash dishes, you can do the whole nine. But the flip side is, okay, but when you say that, I can also take out the trash. Now, I can't fix jack. So don't even bother asking me. I'm not wired that way, but that's where it goes back to the roles. For me, the gender roles are, where is your strength? That's not my strength. I can't fix a thing, but I'll take Jasmine. She can fix anything. If she wants to do it, then she's gonna YouTube it, whatever, but she's gonna figure it out. That is not my thing. But I know sometimes I'll be like, that trash is getting over, like it's starting to trickle over. Like, you gonna take that trash out, but I can take the trash out too. So sometimes I'm like, okay, let me go take that trash, because if he tried to box me into, well, I'm always flipping out about cleaning the house. If he boxed me into me being the person that cleaned this house, I would be hot. So I do think that sometimes we scream this equality business, but then sometimes we don't hold ourselves to that standard where it's like, well, I shouldn't have to do that because a man should do this, but we want it to be equal. So I think that people scream that a lot, but don't always follow through with that.
I like that. That definitely makes sense. I definitely see that. Now, see, in our household, I think it's partly because of the way I grew up. My mom was a single parent, and I can remember, I think I was like 6 or 7 when my parents split up, and it was me, my brother, and my mom. And so, as far as gender roles, there were no gender roles in our household growing up, because when I had to cut grass, my brother had to be in the house cleaning and doing the dishes. And then we had to rotate. Like, it would be my week to go outside, cut the grass, get the sticks and leaves and all of that stuff up when my brother did inside, and then vice versa, he'd go outside. Now, there were some times I'd be like, look, I'll do your inside chores if you go and do my outside chores. I'm like, I don't really want to go cut the grass, but I had to do it. Also had to take out trash. My brother actually was trying to teach me how to like do bricks and stuff. Anything that broke in the house, I was figuring out how to fix it. I was putting stuff together and vice versa. And then when my brother moved out, it was just me and my mom. And so waiting on somebody's gender roles, how was anything going to get done? Especially when you don't have the money to call handyman to come do this, or waiting around for somebody to come fix your toilet for you. Because I done fixed so many broken toilets. I know how to do it with my eyes closed now. So, like, for me, there were no gender roles growing up, so I didn't even have to worry about any type of gender equality, because me and my brother had to do everything. Well, my mom too, not saying she didn't do nothing, but I'm saying, like, as far as outside stuff versus inside stuff. So, like there's some women who refuse to put gas in their car because they're going to do it. I can't. Me personally, I'm not going to be sitting there like, oh, I got to drive all the way home just for him to go back out. Because I always think about the inconvenience. I don't pay stations. Why not just stop and help my husband out? Because he out working and he might be tired too. So like stuff
I've seen a lot of posts about that gas situation where people make that a really big thing. Like, your man let you pump gas? Yeah, why not?
I love talking about gender roles, the gender role topic. One thing that just popped in my head, right? And I don't know where we're going with the questions, but I feel like people who are so hell-bent on gender roles, they never live by themselves.
I can definitely agree to that.
Because if you live by yourself, who was taking out the trash? Who was pumping your bathroom? Who was pumping your gas? Who was cleaning the bathroom? Who was cooking?
I still wasn't fixing stuff though.
Different. Like even when we think about like handyman and the woman, like if you call the handyman, the woman show up to fix your stuff, it's gonna be like, oh, I wasn't expecting you.
Right.
You call a plumber. You call a plumber to come unclog something, and a woman show up. It's like, and that is, to go back to the first question, that is how America and society has shaped how we view the genders.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we talk about the whole pumping the gas thing. That's how America has shaped and viewed these genders. The man is supposed to pump the gas. Says who? Like,
I see Deke's comment that said, if he's in the car, you shouldn't pump the gas. I like pumping my gas.
And this is what I'll say about
I don't mind it.
This is what I'll say.
There's no such thing as gender roles.
I agree with it. Because again, like I just said, if say she worked late, right? Late night. And I gotta think if society says the woman is supposed to take care of the house, tend to the kids. Well, if she worked late night and my kids had homework,
go ahead and say it.
Society,
when she works late night every night.
Society says that, well, that's the woman's job, is to make sure that the husband's home, the kids' homework is done, to make sure that the kids is bathed. My kids will never be bathed and their homework will never be done if we waited. Like, and I think that when you get into relationships, we understand like there is no role, there is no roles. And again, I don't know where the question is going.
No, listen, go where the goal.
I know.
What's
the question is very broad.
But there is no roles, man, because again, if the role says that you are supposed to do X, Y, and Z, if she's supposed to cook, I'll be waiting for dinner.
Y'all be starving.
I'll be waiting for dinner.
I did cook tonight though. I prepped for the night.
So you could have dinner at the
at the dinner table.
I couldn't get my words together.
They go back to what Kim talk about, pride.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I ain't gonna say no names, but we know somebody. We know a bunch of people. If his wife don't cook, he will not eat.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Legit. Won't eat.
You will order something.
Okay, but you would at least order some, right?
Yeah, I mean,
No,
I'll fix
he'll go fix a sandwich, and that's about as deep as
Okay.
Listen,
You-
that's
Well,
more.
You
You
don't
saying you saying somebody
Or-
like literally will go to bed hungry just because their wife ain't cooked?
Mad,
No, I
hungry,
didn't.
mad.
No,
Maybe you be starving and skinty.
and I'm definitely not either or. However, there's times when I'm fasting. And you'll be like, no, you're not. Yes, I am, man. I can't. But needless to say,
He didn't communicate said fast with
yeah,
me, so
there's times where
all I know is you ain't eat all day.
but man, to go back to the question, so the way I'm wired, of course, I did my little deep sea diving when it came to these topics, and looking at cultures before American culture, there wasn't an argument about gender equality. Even further, like, it was always the counterpart. Like, even when you go back to Egypt, like you got Queen Nefertiti and King, whatever his name was,
Can't help you.
Queen Sheba. Was that a real queen?
Can't help you.
Needless to say,
King Tut, that's the only king I know.
needless to say,
That's all I got to.
their women were beside them. There wasn't a such thing as far as like a one is better than the other, and I think that with today that the gender equality comes about, it's almost like a distorted understanding of it, in my opinion, because there's been a fight for females to be equal to men and to do everything that men does. However, we're equal, but yet we have strength in so many different areas. I mean, like, women have intuition, and their intuition is a lot stronger than men. And even scientists have proven that to be a fact. So, like, that's a strength that she has that I don't have. So she's superior in that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we're still equal because, in a sense, a man is always built to be, I guess, stronger to be the protector, and she's the nurturer. So that's why her body parts are the way that they are.
I don't even know where you're going with this.
I'm just saying, like, as far as the equality part, the fight for equality and the argument for equality with females is, to me, it coincides with the argument about gender roles, because ultimately there shouldn't be a fight about equality. Like, we're equal, and in relationships, everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. So there should be to where it's not a role, it's a unit, in my opinion. So
I get that. You got a comment.
he says you can't compare American society with other countries. Mr. Frazier, we have to, in my opinion, because for one, we're in the country that we're in. I mean, we're in America, so we've adopted this culture, for one, and for two, I mean, you can always learn from history and see where they got it wrong and where they got it right. And in my opinion, when it comes to the way that they've seen their female counterparts, as far as the men were concerned, it was an equality type thing. It wasn't like, just because I'm the head doesn't mean that I'm the ultimate head. Like, you are the head in a lot of other situations that I'm not.
But I legit was just talking to somebody about this earlier. Like, yes, a man is the vision; he's the head because he naturally the one with the vision. You know what I mean? But I always told somebody, like, if the man is the head who has the vision, the woman is always is the neck, which is the one that allows that vision to happen. To allow, like, the neck needs the head for support. The neck needs the head. The head needs the neck. The head needs the neck for support. The head also needs the neck for it to maneuver, for it to move. So it has to have. You can't have one without the other. You have to have a head needs a neck so it can move freely.
Mm-hmm.
If you had no neck, you would just be bumping into things. You would just be walking into things. So we're talking about the whole gender roles. You need one or you need both parties for it to be successful. You need both, like Taman just said, your strengths are strengths. You strong in one area, I'm strong in another area. Those balance each other out.
How the young folks said, you spitting.
Like, like again, we're talking about cooking. Like,
You silly.
I know men who love to cook, but society says that's a woman's job.
I am not one.
He be killing it.
So Dom.
Shout out to you, bro.
And see, I like to build stuff. I like to build stuff, create stuff, and fix stuff. Like, if we were stuck in those gender roles, I would never be able to do that, and things would never get fixed.
Cause you fixed the thing. That's what you're talking about.
What thing?
The you know what? Let me go on to the next.
But I mean, that's just what I like to do.
You do. You'll tell me about it, and then 10 minutes later, be on it. I'll be like, all right. So, how does society's view on gender roles affect marriages today?
It puts them in a box. Because again, if society says that if society says the man is supposed to go be the breadwinner and the woman is supposed to stay home and take care of the kids, well, what if your wife wants to go and work? What if your wife wants to go out and do and provide? I mean, what if the husband is a stronger nurturer?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it just puts him in a box because now you have somebody out of position.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the stronger nurturer, but society says I'm supposed to go out and work. I'm supposed to go out here and be the breadwinner. And because I'm out here doing this, she's not saying my wife, but your wife is not that's not her position. Her position is not to nurture. She wants to go out and work. Now the roles are reversed, you know what I mean? Because now you have somebody out of position. Now the kids ain't getting what they need because the wife ain't truly nurturing, and the husband is in a position where he's not fully thriving or fully flourishing.
Mm-hmm.
So it puts him in a box.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Can I go?
Sure, go ahead.
Right. I'll say for me personally that it was something that affected me tremendously when it came to my marriage. Mainly with me, when society says that you have to be the breadwinner, and you have a vision as to where you want to go, and things aren't working out the way that you want them to work out, and you feel like you're not getting ahead, and then you're looking at society and I felt like I was a failure to society because of what I couldn't bring to my marriage, even though my wife was understanding the fact of, I see all the behind the scenes, like stop worrying about it. However, with me and pride and having that, it's gonna be this way. It's gonna be this way. It drove me to a dark place, a very dark place, I'll say. And needless to say that it helped me to realize that you can't let society affect what goes on in your household and what works for you. And along with that, a lot of the pride that I had was because of my, I don't say adoration, but me being in the American culture and having that the man's got to do this, the man's got to be this type of way, and blah, 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 whatever, having that stuck in my head, me not being in that position, it was like, yo, what is going on? But at the same time, like you were saying, Dom, the nurturing side came to where I was home with my kids, and before before the youngest two went off to school, and teaching them and helping them learn and being there and playing with them and spending time with them and all that. Like, it was almost like I took that for granted because I wasn't being able to be the provider that society told me that I should be, which is the breadwinner. And ultimately, when I let go of my pride, and
Still working on it.
I mean, I let go like 75% of it. Don't do
Which
that.
means you still working on
It's
it.
25%.
Still working.
I still am. However, with me removing a lot of that pride, the Most High is moving in so many ways, and it amazes me that just me to change the perspective and really hone in and focus in on me and mine. It has done wonders. I'll tell you that. So forget about society.
I think the society's view is, I think it's hindering marriages and it's hindering potential marriages, because I see so many Facebook posts of women saying if the man is not making this, this, and this, then they don't want to be with him. Like, sis, you're missing out on opportunities of your potential soulmate, because to be honest, who's making that right now, right off the bat, when they first even getting into a relationship? A lot of people get into relationships in their early 20s. It ain't too many people that got their career figured out and are already on their lifelong path in their early 20s. But yet you want the man to be making six figures before you even start to date him. Well, how about you guys start dating? Because I'm pretty sure now if you're making six figures and that's what you're already established in your life, then I get it if that's what you're looking for, because you want somebody that's going to meet or exceed where you're at and not bring you down. But if you're not even bringing to the table what you want him to bring to the table, then how can you allow society to stop you from being in a relationship with someone just because they're not meeting what you think they should be bringing to the table? Because at that point, then you grow together and you build together, and it makes the marriage more beneficial when you're doing it together. And because you guys are, it's like bonding you together as you're growing too. But I think it's hindering it because a lot of people are missing their opportunities because they don't want to go outside of the box that society says they have to be in.
Got Miss Tracy Denise, shout out to the young Tracy Denise, says you can't let society dictate what works for you, for your household. Do what works for you, your spouse, and your household. I definitely agree.
Let me say
that. Oh, go ahead, Kim.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was basically going to say what Denise just said, which was society's view, how it affects marriages. I think that it shouldn't affect your marriage because it doesn't matter. It's what she said. It's your household is your household. What anybody else thinks doesn't matter. The moment we got married, society's view and what other people thought went out the window, because when we got married, I mean, life started instantly.
Right.
All kinds of things came up. So it was like, if you were stuck on what society called the norm, then we wouldn't even be here today. You have to adjust. You have to move. You got to know how to just roll with the punches and be your spouse's support in whatever may come. We've had times where Dom was out of work. He wasn't the breadwinner. I'm working. He was a full-time stay-at-home dad, nurturing the children, teaching them all kinds of things, education, spiritually, all of that. So it's like, if we had listened to what other people had to say or what other people's opinions were, that could have tore us apart. But it was in those moments when we were going through hard times like that, that we were the closest. Some couples you'll see will fall apart when you have situations like that. But for us, those are some of our strongest times. And I think it's because just knowing your spouse and having their back and knowing that you want the best for them, like we're a team, we're in this together. You just don't let the outside world affect you. But just like what Taman said, sometimes it's hard because you're used to hearing like the man is this. So you went through a time where you weren't in that role. So you had a battle with yourself. That's normal. You came out of it. Y'all were stronger. You're stronger now. I just think that, and like Kim said, I have seen a lot of couples, talked to a lot of couples, and seen a lot of posts about marriages who are like ready to call it quits off of these so-called gender roles. And I'm just like, you're about to let something so special go because of what society says should happen. Your household is your household. It's what works for you.
Yeah.
No marriage is the same.
At all.
You can't go off of what somebody else is doing. You just can't.
I'm gonna use something that somebody always say, right? Live long enough, right?
Right.
So,
JC.
you talk about in a perfect marriage. We're talking about perfect marriages, right? In the perfect world, this is what the husband will do, and this is what the wife would be. And if you live long enough, and if you stay married long enough, there are gonna be ebbs and flows throughout your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Where you again, like Cole said, the husband may be the breadwinner, but there might be an ebb and flow. Something may happen where she gotta take over, and she has it. There may be times where a husband has the vision, but he gets tired, gets burnt out, and now a wife got to step up and say, "Okay, this is what we're doing." Right? There's going to be ebbs and flows in your marriage, no matter at what level you're at or what stage in your marriage you're in. There's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be times where you have hard times when you're good. That's the test. That's the true testament of a marriage.
Yeah.
Of a relationship. Like if everything is always peachy, if everything's always good, like when you get tested, you ain't gonna know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the husband's always supposed to be the breadwinner. Well, the company went belly up. He got laid off. Right? He ain't do nothing wrong. He just got laid off.
Right.
Then what? Now what do you do?
Right. I think that also plays into the whole gender roles thing is men aren't supposed to show their emotions per society. And that drives me crazy because how can you not when so many things happen in life? So many things happen in life. So many things happen to people personally. How can you not expect someone to show emotions and keep it bottled up? Because that's what creates, I think, also more barriers and things in the household because the marriage, the couple is not talking about these things because the man is supposed to hold these emotions in. And I think that plays a role in a lot of it too. And I just lost my entire train of thought.
You was going,
I was,
man.
but I have a whole blank in my mind right now. I will say I do know, like, all I could see in my head is like a man telling his son, "Don't cry, man up, man up." But why, if something like really hurts you? Because then you got these grown adults who don't know how to handle situations and unfortunately won't seek help outside of that and try to deal with things on their own, and it makes them a prisoner in their own mind because they're fighting these battles and things like that. So I feel like even that part of the quote unquote gender role, we got to break that as well.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I love that you brought it up because again, that is huge. I mean, that's part of the whole, that part of pride as well. Emotion, to tell a man to bury emotions, you're cutting off a part of you that it's essential. You know what I mean? Like you were created with emotions. So to say don't show emotions, like that's cutting off a whole part of you. Like that's cutting off of who you were created to be.
Hey, there's sometimes where my son, I gotta tell him, "Hey, you got to man up on this one."
I tell my son all the time, keeping it real. I tell my son all the time, like you got to stop crying. And I tell my daughter the same thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
We do too.
Crying.
But I understand though that there's emotions and
there's a time and a place to show them, but don't bury them.
Yeah. I try to teach our kids, especially with our kids, and especially Nehemiah, like, if your feelings are hurt, talk about it. You can tell me, "Mommy, my feelings are hurt. Mommy, I am sad about something." That's another way of displaying your emotions and talking about it and getting it out. But sitting there crying because you don't want to put these white shoes on when you want to wear your black ones, that's a problem. Like, no, get it together. But they're kids too, and they have to grow up into like young adults and adulthood. So they need to be able to learn to decipher those. And if you're constantly telling them to mute their emotions, they're not gonna ever figure out how to decipher when it's okay to not even display but express my emotions, however it may be, and when to hold it back. When to hold it back, when to like say, okay, this ain't nothing to be crying or mad or sad over. So we have to teach them that.
Well, just as a plug, we will have an episode about masculinity, if I could say it right, and femininity as well. So, needless to say, that'll pique your ears for that. It won't be the next time, but go ahead. We'll talk more about the emotions and all of that.
I got a lot of masculine emotions.
What?
I do.
Don't. What?
I do.
You think you do. You think you're a thug, yo.
Kim a thug. Yeah, Kim a thug.
She the softest thug. All right. All right. So our last question of the evening is, should we redefine gender roles in society, relationships, and marriage?
Yes.
That was just clear as day. Just yes.
And dry.
Right. Yes, we need to. I'll elaborate. We need to define gender roles, or we need to take out gender roles, because our society is evolving. Households are evolving. Things happen. You have to learn to go with the flow of things. What?
He said he's gonna get canceled saying the wrong thing.
Listen, he's right.
Yeah. It's still, I feel like we need to cancel it. Not for that reason of moving, taking away gender roles, but because things happen. Like, there's been times where I've had surgeries and I could not, like, physically, I can't get up to do anything. Have to have people calling on me. So my baby will be cooking the kids breakfast and stuff like that.
See,
and
I
if
cooked
we're
a couple
stuck
times.
to, they still alive.
Listen, breakfast.
They still alive.
I get down on breakfast. Don't do that with the French toast and the strawberry joint and the pancakes. Breakfast I can get down on.
See, honey says it's good.
Exactly. So
I don't eat it.
all right. So go ahead.
But I think that, like, we have to get rid of that mentality, because when you're in a marriage, you say your vows for better or for worse. There's been some worse moments when it comes to the physical. When you can't physically do anything for your family, you have to rely on the other person in the marriage to help your other partner to help and pick up that slack. And stuck in a gender role, like Nicole said earlier, it just won't get done. Trash will sit there and pile up. The yard won't get cut. Grass, like, stuff like that. So you can't be stuck in that role and think that, like, not being able to adapt to situations. And the way that situations change in society day by day, job laws, medical, anything, family growing, even a family growing, you have to adapt to things, because when people have more than 2 to 3 kids, you need help. You need help. I don't care what role it is. You need help. So yes, it needs to be done away with.
I'll say, the way we redefine it is take the gender off of it.
Right.
Because there are roles in marriage. I mean, I don't want people to think that there aren't roles, but just taking the gender off of it. What's your role? Okay, I'm, like Cole said, I'm stronger at cooking. I'm the man. Okay, I'm going to cook. She's stronger at X, Y, and Z. That's what society will say. That's a man's job. I'm stronger at that. That's okay. That's your role. So the way we redefine that in relationships and in marriages is just taking the gender off of it and just saying that this is my role. This is the role I play in the marriage. This is the role she plays in the marriage, and it works for us. It works for our household.
So just having a conversation and having that conversation often, because roles will change, just like your love languages. That stuff changes. So just checking in to see where something might need to be tweaked based on the season that you're in.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'll say that, of course, traditionally, I guess we should redefine it, especially with how society views it and whatnot. I mean, pretty much what everybody's saying, that, what works for you and your spouse, or you and your significant other should be what it is. I felt like I had something else. She said, yes, my definition, that we both can work and we both can cook and clean. Exactly.
Absolutely.
I'll take some. No, you're not cooking. Over.
You trying to say?
You don't have to cook.
I'm cool with that.
Listen, that's not his role.
That's not my role. Okay, so we're both. Well, she's an athlete. I was a so-called athlete, but we played on teams. And one of the things about teams is you know your role. When it comes to good teams, you know your role. Championship teams. When I think about the dynasty of the Lakers in the early 2000s, I was a big fan of them. I was a Shaq fan. What?
Nothing.
No,
you just don't know where this.
No,
You said
you got to work as a team. So, for instance, everybody knew that Shaq and Kobe were the dynamic duo, but then you got Rick Fox playing his role, doing the hustle and all that. You got Derek Fisher, that's the hustle man. He runs the point. He's not gonna get too many buckets or whatever. But everybody didn't go outside of their role. Like one of the things that I listened to, one of the podcasts, Derek Fisher was saying that everyone knew their role on the team, and nobody tried to go outside of that. So, like, even for instance, with our situation before, to where, like I was saying, I was in a dark place because I couldn't provide. If I understood that you were the Shaq and Kobe, and I had to play the Derek Fisher role of just giving you assists, I'm just related to basketball because I know basketball. That we would have been able to progress a lot forward, and I feel like I stunted our growth because of my pride and my not wanting to be in the role that was fit for that time or that season. It was a matter of me trying to exceed myself, and then exceeding kind of slowing up the process of everything else.
He was a rookie, still learning the game. I got you. Yeah,
definitely was a rookie. Definitely, this marriage is always an ever learning process.
Indeed.
Why do you say it like that?
Because it is.
I love it.
I love it too, but it's still okay? I'm just saying. Listen, you can ask couples who've been married for 20, 30, 40 years, and they're going to tell you, like, at each different stage of life, it's learning.
I know.
Apparently, I love it. I'm still here.
Yeah, you are. He said you didn't want to be a bench player.
Be a bench player.
Nah, I rode the bench all my life. I wanted to be the star.
Oh,
oh, that was cute. That was cute. That was a ball. All right. So, on that note, we do want to thank there's only 6 of them.
I didn't know.
It's all 54 minutes in.
Oh, okay.
We do want to thank the founders of the Love Walk, Dom and Nicole Wilcher, this evening for joining us and talking about gender roles. Any final thoughts, plugs?
Oh, shit.
Thank you for having us on here. I realized how much I miss doing stuff like this. So thank you for the conversation. This was on point. I put up a post yesterday about, it basically was about gender roles. And it was funny that we did this today because the story was something on Instagram, something funny, but it really was relative to today's conversation. I might repost it just for fun. This was an awesome conversation.
Definitely appreciate you guys coming on. It's fine.
Yeah. We're gonna get Love Walk back and running at some point. But if I had a plug, no final thought. Do what's best for your household.
Yeah.
Paying attention to what the social media says and what, because most of these people that's giving you advice or giving you these so-called gender roles and all this stuff, they ain't been through it. They ain't been through it. It's easy to say, well, you ain't supposed to do X, Y, and Z when you ain't in it.
What's that guy, Kevin Samuels?
Yes.
He's a mess.
Who's that?
He's hardcore.
Guy, he has his commentary on just about every subject matter. And granted, sometimes he does speak a little truth, but at the same time, I'm like, are you married? What does your love life look like? Like, I hope it's perfect. I really hope it's perfect.
Yes, because he knows it all.
Needless to say, goodness gracious. So, if you like what you heard, subscribe. We are on YouTube.
All platforms. I heard us on Spotify. It was weird hearing my own voice, but I heard us on Spotify.
So we're on Spotify. We're on where you could find your favorite podcast.
You're funny.
So definitely subscribe. Yeah. So until then, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And y'all have a good night.
Thank you
Shalom.
for having us.
Guys, miss y'all. Love y'all.
Love y'all.
He don't know what to do.
Stop.